Anthony Ruffalo, certified financial planner here. I'm visiting today. What's the name of your law firm? Anthony Ruffalo, certified financial planner here. I'm visiting with Christian Cherry of Crisp, Cherry, and McCraw. He's an estate attorney. I've been working with Christian for, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or something. And we're visiting today, and I just wanted to go over it. I want to ask him a couple of questions on some basics. So can you give us an example of probate property versus non-probate property? So as I was editing this video, I realized that I didn't set this question up right, and it wouldn't make sense unless I explained this. So what probate property is, it's important to understand what probate is. Probate, if somebody dies and the property is subject to probate, that means you have to go to court and it has to get litigated in order for the property to be distributed out. There are court costs involved with that, and there is a waiting period. As opposed to non-probate property, which is what we go on to talk about further in this video, non-probate property are your qualified retirement plans with beneficiary designations, and the other property that we mention later on in the video. Those things, if it's not subject to probate and it has a beneficiary designation, gets distributed out in a matter of days after the death certificate being filed with the custodian. Same thing for life insurance benefits. Somebody dies with life insurance, it's a pretty quick process. Once you file the death certificate, there are a couple of requirements that have to be met. But it moves relatively quickly. That's the distinction. That's why probate versus non-probate is so important. And then there are also some tax advantages to property being passed via beneficiary designation with respect to qualified retirement plans. Back to the video.
Okay, so the probate property that I was referring to in the prior question would be assets that are in your sole name without a beneficiary designation.
Okay.
That's probate property. Non-probate property in North Carolina, at least, would be assets that you own jointly with someone, joint with right of survivorship, assets that have a beneficiary designation on them, and real estate is not probate property in North Carolina.
Okay. And when you say beneficiary designation, that includes an annuity, that would include life insurance, that would include a 401k with a beneficiary designation, that would include an IRA, a Roth IRA, and such. So most qualified retirement plans are going to require a beneficiary designation when you open the account. So most of those are non-probate property, unless for some reason you don't name a beneficiary, then it would essentially become probate property, correct?
Correct. It would be governed by the contract, but most contracts would say that it's going to pass to your estate, which makes it probate property.
Gotcha. So very simply, it's very important to designate a beneficiary on those qualified retirement plans because it will bypass probate that way, correct?
Correct, and you'll also get the income tax benefit on a lot of them.
Which is the ability to stretch. Okay, and I also need to go over the technical definition of a stretch IRA because I just mentioned it. A stretch IRA is a marketing term implying the ability of a beneficiary of a decedent's IRA to withdraw the least amount of money at the latest allowable time in order to maintain the inherited IRA possible for the longest time possible. Beneficiary distribution options depend on a number of factors such as the type and age of the beneficiary, the relationship of the beneficiary to the decedent, and the age of the decedent at death, which may result in the inability to stretch a decedent's IRA. So you can't always stretch them, but hopefully we can. Illustration values will vary greatly depending upon the assumptions used, which may not be predictable, such as future tax laws, IRS rules, inflation, constant rates of return. Costs, including custodial fees, may be incurred on a specified frequency while the account remains open. Back to our regular scheduled program. All right. Well, Christian, thanks for spending some time with us and sharing some of your estate planning insights. And hopefully we see you again.